Jason Licht played football at Nebraska, and then he got into football and personnel and scouting. He is the general manager now in his 7th year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I've been saying this for the last couple. It's not a talent issue. They don't have the quarterback right quite yet, but they got all sorts of players, and he is joining us via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. So, what's interesting about this, Jason, is that people think, oh, there's all this change. You actually return 19 starters, which I think is first or second in the NFL. So you guys have not had a lot of flux. You're young, but when I look at your team this year, my only question, it's not your defense, it's not your personnel. My question is, take the old guy, put him up with the new kids, and figure out the offensive system together. So how has Brady looked so far, Jason?
He's looked great. We haven't put pads on yet. We haven't even gone offense versus defense in walkthroughs. That's coming up this week. But there's definitely a different aura to practice. There's just a different feel. It's very efficient. The players are gravitating to him like you would expect. I was, in New England for 6 years when he was the quarterback. So I'm not as in awe as a lot of other people here that haven't been around him. Don't get me wrong. I'm still in awe of him. I mean, he is the best of all time. So, but it's a different feel. But we're taking it one day at a time here. We all know we have a lot of work to do before we kick off here in a little over a month.
It's interesting when I don't even think I've heard the story on this. So there had to have been a moment where you and Bruce Arians were, it's a day in the off season, and you had to have a moment where you said, Coach, I was up there in New England. I have Tom's number. Maybe I can make a little text to Tom. Do you remember the moment when you thought to yourself, I think we have a shot here. We may be in the hunt here for Brady.
Well, it seems like it was 5 years ago now because we've been through a lot here, all of us in the world here the last few months. But it really never came down until the moment that we could call the agent. We couldn't talk to the players yet in free agency, but the legal tampering period, which is an oxymoron. But where we didn't get an answer, but the first call I made to Don Yee, he said, "You made the right call." And
wow,
I thought at that moment that was a good sign. Now, I didn't know if he was saying that to any other teams that were calling him, but it wasn't until we were able to talk to Tom. I went over to Bruce's house, called him, and he answered, and he said, "What's up, big guy? I'm very excited." And I remember looking at Bruce going, I don't know what this means. Does it mean that he's excited to join the new team or joining us? So the call went well. He still hadn't signed until, the following day. So I wasn't going to start, doing cartwheels until, the ink dried. But, that was really the moment. There was a lot of sleepless nights leading up to it. And, it was crazy that we're, kind of that was when the uncertainty started. He was just coming to grasp with what we're going through with the pandemic. At that moment that, after he signed, we would have normally probably rented out a restaurant and had a party. But, it was just kind of a surreal time. But it was a great thing to happen during those times to keep our minds, off of everything else that was going on just for a moment.
It's funny. You had the world's best secret. In the entire world, you had the world's best secret, and you couldn't tell anybody. Did you even tell your wife? Did you even go home and say, honey, you can't tell anybody, but we're going to get Tom Brady here? How did you keep it secret?
Well, in today's day and age, it was the free agent bell hit, so everybody was after the story, and I think it pretty much was out simultaneously. But she knew that that's what the desire that Bruce and I and our organization wanted for a while. But she was told not to tell anybody that that's what we were hoping to do.
Yeah, when I looked at your team, it's one of those things where when Tom chose you, we all went on this show, oh, yeah, this makes total sense. Yeah, this makes sense. The receivers, he got tired of kind of a lack of firepower, and Tampa's got all sorts of firepower. So, but the untold story of your team is that your defense was great down the stretch, and I'm a huge fan of Todd Bowles. I thought he was very good in New York, but he may be a coordinator more than a coach. I don't know. I don't know. But let's talk a little bit about that, is that the offense will get all the discussion. You have one of the best young linebacking cores in football. Talk about how you played last year late on the other side of the ball.
We took some lumps early in the year. We had a very young secondary. And first of all, to back up, you're right. Todd Bowles is an incredible coach. I think he's going to be a great head coach again someday. But he's an incredible coach. We have an A-plus coaching staff. Bruce has put together an all-star staff here, and they're just incredible to work with. But we struggled a little bit early. Todd and his staff put in extra time with these young guys. I think it was the secondary. They finally started to click. They finally started to get it. These were young guys. And at the second half of the year, I was driving to the stadium looking forward to watching this defense. And there have been a few years that I wouldn't be able to say the same thing. So I think they're only going to get better this year. We have a lot of talent, like you said, but we have a great coaching staff, and we have a great vision for what we're going to do this year.
One of the things I've been concerned about is as you get older, 43 years old for Tom, you're dealing with 21-year-olds. They listen to different music. They're on different platforms. Tom's done a very good job to stay young. And I thought it was interesting when you brought Gronk in, because you're certainly not short of tight ends. You probably have the best tight end combo in the NFL. Is Gronk more of a chemistry piece? How do you view Gronk on this roster?
Well, we love OJ. We think Cam's a heck of a player. We got a couple other young guys that we like, a few other young guys that we like as well. But we do know that Tom likes Gronk. We didn't sign him or trade for him just because of that. But we know, your tight end is usually your quarterback's best friend. So if you can actually get the quarterback's best friend and bring in a tight end, and you probably have a better chance of things working out. But you can't have too many great players. We love OJ, we love Cam, we love, like I said, the other young guys too. I think we're going to find a way to get them all into the offense, and I think Tom's up for the task.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is obviously COVID makes it difficult, but I was saying yesterday is that the NFL is equipped to handle this. You can kind of create a semi-bubble, not an NHL bubble, but a semi-bubble. Is that how it kind of feels? That you've got some parameters here that are fairly rigid and that you'll get through it. Are you optimistic today?
I am optimistic, very optimistic. It's been working for us. I know it's been working for a lot of other teams too. I know that the accountability that Bruce has been preaching to our players, don't let one person bring this down. They all see that this could be a very exciting year for us. They don't want to be the person that does it, that brings it down. Everybody's very vigilant here about wearing their masks, social distancing when you have to, and Bruce preaches it every day. So when it's coming from the top, and nobody wants to give this virus to any of our players, but we certainly don't want to give it to our coaches either. So it's right now, I've been very pleased with the work that our staff has done putting our quasi bubble together. So like I said, I'm looking forward to kicking off here in a little over a month.
I imagine merchandise sales have been pretty strong. Your ownership group should be the Glazers should be pretty happy. Just off the top of your head, merchandise sales for the Buccaneers. Let me guess, they're up.
Yeah, probably a little bit. I had to buy a bunch of jerseys myself for family members. So I imagine that they are up. I imagine they are.
Good.
Tom Brady raises the accountability level of everybody in the organization.
Yeah. Jason, great seeing you. You've done a remarkable job. Couldn't be happier for you. I lived there for a couple of years, a great NFL city, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
I appreciate it.
Good stuff. Can't wait. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.